The air was thick with tension as I sat in the dark, my heart racing. I could feel something wrong, but I couldn't see it. I tried to scream, but no sound came. My body was bound, tightly, uncomfortably. The ropes cut into my skin. Sweat dripped down my forehead as I struggled, my breath quickening. I could hear it now. Slow footsteps, dragging across the floor. Something, or someone, was coming closer. Every muscle in my body screamed to run, but I was trapped, helpless. I had no idea how it came to this, to the point where I could hear its breath, that heavy rasping sound. It was too late now. The moment had passed. It started out like any other weekend. A few friends and I decided to get away from the chaos, find some peace in the woods, away from everything. We rented a cabin, one of those old creaky places with thick trees surrounding it. The perfect escape. At first, it was just fun. We were all laughing, cracking jokes, and setting up around the campfire. The trees rustled in the breeze, but it felt safe, warm. We had everything we needed. We were together. But then, as night fell and the fire dimmed, Emma said something that made the air feel heavier. What if we really did see something out here? Something real? Everyone laughed. I laughed too. It was just a joke, right? But Emma, she was always different. She was the one who got these weird feelings, you know? That sense that something was wrong before it even happened. I remember the way she kept looking into the trees. It wasn't the wind. Something was out there, watching us. The first night we stayed up late. The fire had died down, leaving only a small flickering glow. The others were chatting, but Emma just sat there, quiet, staring into the darkness. I could see her fidgeting. "Emma," I said, trying to break her out of it. "What's going on?" She looked at me with wide eyes, almost frantic. "It's nothing, it's just... I don't like how still it is." That's when I started feeling it too. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't an animal. I felt eyes watching from the trees. I laughed it off just like everyone else. But it didn't feel right. The woods were too silent. The air too still. Around midnight, I decided to step outside. The others were asleep, and I figured a breath of fresh air would help clear my head. I grabbed my jacket and stepped into the cold night. The moonlight filtered through the trees, casting long shadows that seemed to move. I took a few steps toward the edge of the forest. It was quiet, too quiet. Then I heard something. A rustle, just a slight sound, but it was enough to make me stop. My heart thudded in my chest as I looked around. Nothing, just trees, but... No, I wasn't alone. I could feel it. Something was out there. I should have gone back. I should have. But then, I heard it again. Closer this time. A growl, low and deep. It didn't sound like any animal I'd ever heard. I froze. I turned slowly. And that's when I saw it. There, standing just beyond the trees, was a figure. Tall. Too tall. Its shape was wrong. Twisted. It stepped into the moonlight, and I could see its glowing eyes. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't cooperate. My feet were glued to the ground. That thing, it was watching me. Its eyes locked onto mine, unblinking, cold. The growl was louder now, closer. I felt a chill creep up my spine, and then instinct kicked in. I turned and ran. I could hear it. The sound of something dragging behind me. Its footsteps were heavy, deliberate, closer, always closer. I ran through the woods, branches scraping at my skin, my breath ragged. The air was so thick, suffocating. But every time I looked over my shoulder, I couldn't see it. But I could hear it. Closer. It wasn't an animal. It wasn't a person. It was something else. I stumbled, fell. But I didn't stop. I couldn't. Somewhere in the distance, I heard my friends calling my name. But I couldn't stop. I couldn't let them find out what was chasing me, what I had unleashed. When I finally reached the cabin, the door was wide open. I didn't stop. I didn't look back. I ran inside and locked the door behind me. But it was too late. One by one, they disappeared. First Emma, then Mike, then Sarah. I heard their screams, faint at first, then silence. I couldn't save them. None of us could. And now, it's come for me. The door creaks open. And I know it's here. The growl. It's right outside. I can hear its breath. I'm trapped. The ropes are tight. I can't move. The last thing I hear is its breath, steady and slow, growing louder as it steps closer. And then the air was thick with tension as I sat in the dark, my heart racing. I could feel something wrong, but I couldn't see it. I tried to scream, but no sound came. My body was bound, tightly, uncomfortably. The ropes cut into my skin. Sweat dripped down my forehead as I struggled, my breath quickening. I could hear it now. Slow footsteps dragging across the floor. Something, or someone, was coming closer. Every muscle in my body screamed to run, but I was trapped. Helpless, I had no idea how it came to this. To the point where I could hear its breath, that heavy rasping sound. It was too late now. The moment had passed. The door creaks again, this time louder, closer. I can hear the dragging sound, like something heavy being pulled across the floor. My heart pounds in my chest, my breath shallow, as I pull at the ropes that bind me. Useless. I know it's too late. There's no escape. I hear it stop right outside the door. The air grows colder. My eyes dart around the room, but there's nowhere to hide. There's no place to run. The darkness closes in, and then it steps inside. It's tall, too tall. The shape is impossible. Long limbs that seem to stretch and bend in unnatural angles. Its eyes glow, a sickly yellow-green, staring at me like it knows everything, like it's been waiting for this moment. I try to scream, but no sound escapes my throat. I can feel it now, its presence filling the room, suffocating me, pressing in from all sides. It reaches toward me with its thin, gnarled fingers, its hand hovering over my face. I can see the blackened skin, the sharp claws, and then I feel it. The cold touch on my cheek. It's ice cold, like death itself. Everything goes black. Epilogue. The unanswered question. The cabin is empty now. No sign of any of us. Just the wind howling through the trees. The last remnants of our laughter and screams lost in the distance. But sometimes, when the wind is still and the night is quiet, someone will hear the faintest whisper from the woods, a warning, and they'll wonder if it was really just a story